We just got breaking news that is going to be absolutely huge for XRP moving forward. In this video, I want to talk about that as well as talk about when events like this are finally going to have an impact on the price of XRP. Guys, we see a leading indicator popping off right now that I believe shows coins like XRP have a big move right around the corner despite the SEC appeal. Make sure to stick around for that. You are not going to want to miss it. Like always, your support means so much to this channel. Thank you to everyone who takes the time to like these videos and subscribe to the channel. These two simple things really do help me out so much. Also, if you ever need a place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out my favorite exchange Uphold down in the description of this video. With that said, though, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. As many of you know, it's pretty rare for me to do 2 videos in one night, but I think this really warranted it because it's such a big deal, and I believe shows what institutions are thinking in terms of the appeal in the Ripple SEC case. Earlier today, we got confirmation that Canary Capital is going to go ahead and continue filing for their XRP ETF. This is fantastic news because one of the things I was afraid of was institutions pulling back on things like an XRP ETF because of the Ripple SEC appeal. Now, what we are seeing is that for the most part, institutions seem unfazed by the appeal. And that's why companies like Canary are going ahead and continuing with their XRP ETFs. The reason why this is so exciting is because this shows me that large institutions are looking at XRP's clarity alongside what the SEC's chances of an appeal actually succeeding are. Many of you likely watched a video I put out earlier today in which I talked about why many prominent attorneys in the XRP community think the SEC's chance of actually winning an appeal is slim to none. And what we're seeing is it's very likely large institutions are now taking that same calculus and applying it to their future products. I want to make 2 very important points about this ETF. One, a lot of people are saying, does this hurt XRP's use case? Does this make it so XRP doesn't fully function as a cross-border payment vehicle? Does this hurt the liquidity? Does this make XRP a security? Guys, none of those things are true. The only thing an ETF is going to do is allow more investors to buy XRP and cause more liquidity and more value to flow into the ecosystem. What XRP ETFs are going to do is allow large capital that is siloed in traditional investment accounts, things like your Charles Schwab and your Fidelities, to get access to purchasing XRP. This is going to increase the price of XRP and thus bring more liquidity to the entire ecosystem. So I don't buy the argument that these XRP ETFs are inherently bad for XRP or destroy its use case as a cross-border payments vehicle. The other point I want to make is around whether or not this makes XRP a security. Absolutely not. We have gold ETFs, we have Bitcoin ETFs. None of these things are securities. All it does is provide a means for which people can now purchase XRP without going to a cryptocurrency exchange. Now, over the long run, I would still rather hold XRP because I think there's going to be many things you can do with your XRP that make it more valuable than holding an ETF. But to each their own, and if someone just wants to get exposure to the price of XRP, these ETFs are going to be a very valuable vehicle. So what we're seeing is institutions are taking a stand against the SEC in terms of their appeal. And what I think this is going to do is force the hand of some of the bigger players out there. The BlackRocks, the Fidelities, these big institutions do not want to lose to these smaller ETF filers. Think about it this way. An ETF is just a way to track the price of a crypto asset. If you get a good ticker out there, you start bringing in capital, you are likely going to win the race for that ETF. The BlackRocks, the Fidelities, these big institutions are not going to want to lose the race to some of these smaller players. And I believe this is going to force their hand in actually applying for some of these ETFs. Now, are we going to see any of these ETFs appealed before the Ripple SEC case is over? I think we're definitely not going to see anything approved under Gary Gensler. But the good news is I don't think we really need to see that. I think the chances that Gary Gensler is going to be out of the administration is increasing day after day. And if he is out of the administration, as Meta Lawman said, and I covered in my video earlier, it is very likely we could end up in a scenario in which we get that new administration and that new administration settles this case and then can approve that underlying XRP ETF. I know that sounds extremely optimistic, but a change in the SEC could flip the entire direction of the cryptocurrency industry. And with these XRP ETFs already being lined up, it makes XRP a premier choice for institutions to ultimately start piling on to the SEC's docket with more and more of these ETFs. It's also never been more clear to most of the major institutions out there, especially in the United States, that in terms of blue chip cryptocurrencies, there's not much better than XRP. The top tier digital asset, Ripple has proven itself against the SEC. XRP is fast, it's efficient, it's being used by institutions. And I saw earlier today that Ripple won a massive award in terms of having the best cross-border payments platform, as well as the Digital Pound Foundation actually commenting on this and essentially putting out their work with Ripple as something that's been very successful. It's no surprise that Ripple is so successful with large institutions with their approach of building compliant products to help these institutions in the new financial system we're heading into. That's why Ripple's speaking at the Federal Reserve later this month. In my opinion, these are all signs that large institutions understand the value proposition of XRP and therefore now more willing to take the risk to file these products like an XRP ETF. They know the demand is going to be there. They know the SEC is on the losing side of most of these arguments, and they don't want to be last in line when these products are getting approved. Now, there's something else we absolutely need to talk about, and it's a common question I get, and that is, why isn't this doing anything to the price of XRP? Now, I think the obvious answer for why it's not doing anything to the price of XRP right now is simply because XRP never moves until Bitcoin reconfirms its all-time high. We need to see Bitcoin make a new all-time high before any of the altcoins are going to move. Why does it work that way? I have no idea. I don't think anyone has an answer. But that's simply how the cryptocurrency market has worked for a very long time now. We need Bitcoin to confirm that this market is going to keep appreciating. But I want to share with you some very good and exciting news in regards to that specific thing happening and likely being right around the corner. Earlier today, we actually saw that MicroStrategy started to make a new all-time high. Now, what's so interesting about this is MicroStrategy and Bitcoin track each other obviously very closely. MicroStrategy holds a very large portion of Bitcoin. But take a look at this. MicroStrategy is also typically a leading indicator for Bitcoin, and MicroStrategy is already making that new all-time high. MicroStrategy is typically seen as a leading indicator to Bitcoin because it's how institutions leverage the market. It's institutions making a prediction that the market is going to go up in the near future. Therefore, they pile into the derivative product that has more leverage associated with it, more upside, and then assume Bitcoin will follow. What we have seen in the past is this is how things have played out. So this could be a very good indicator that that Bitcoin new all-time high is right around the corner. Now, I want to step back and go back to what we were talking about earlier in terms of the XRP ETF. One of the things I was most worried about was large institutions still being afraid of XRP, still saying, you know what, this case is still ongoing, therefore we need to see resolution before we step in. But I think what we're watching playing out in the market is actually the opposite to that. Large institutions are saying, hey, we don't want to miss the boat here. We understand that there's probably going to be a change in the administration governing these crypto assets. We understand that the calculus is likely going to have to change in terms of our conservativeness, in terms of offering products around this industry. I don't think these institutions really need to be informed on what are the blue chips in this space. I think Ripple and XRP are obvious, and their success is going to be clear when these institutions start looking at, hey, did the SEC even prove anything in this case? I think that's the calculus we're watching playing out right now, and the clear answer is no. Many attorneys have already come to the conclusion that regardless of what's happening with this case, XRP will never be deemed a security. So now what we're watching is institutions who are forward-leaning starting to say, you know what, we have waited long enough, we have seen enough, we are going to step into this market before we're left in the dust. Guys, this is a really exciting development. And honestly, I was pessimistic on this playing out so quickly. But I think what we're seeing is a revolt against the SEC and the understanding from these large institutions that this industry is here to stay, and Ripple and XRP are going to continue to be leaders. With the market starting to appreciating, with MicroStrategy making a new all-time high and Bitcoin likely to follow, I would not be surprised if we see XRP price appreciation along with the rest of the cryptocurrency market a lot closer than many people are initially anticipating. Guys, thank you so much for coming, and for now, Mickle out.